Slade, for all intents and purposes, is killed off in the flashbacks. Um, you know, Oliver thinks he's dead, and it isn't until present day season 2 that he finds out that he's alive. And it goes without saying that stuff that I mentioned earlier about the Suicide Squad movie and possibly enacting an embargo on that character. And I didn't mention this either, but I guess TNT has a Teen Titans show in development. So, I mean, they can probably, I would guess, fucking, when you think of Teen Titans, you think of Slade Wilson, Deathstroke as probably their biggest villain. Um, so maybe they'll want him on this Titans as it's being called show, and maybe that will make it so he can't appear on Arrow. I mean, we've seen this with Dollmaker, where he was on Arrow one season, then he was on Gotham the next television season. Um, and also not mentioning Manu Bennett, um, the actor who portrays Slade, and his falling out, as it would seem, with the producers of Arrow. Um, so, um, so we're probably not gonna actually see Slade, I'm guessing, but they're gonna apparently mention him. I guess that's why they mentioned this in this interview, talking about Shadow Spire and their motivation for wanting to bring the group in to the flashbacks. But it's also this thing, again, where like Oliver, he's going to Coast City in the flashbacks next season, and he's just gonna happen to bump into this group, I guess, of bad guys who have a connection to Slade. What are the fucking odds? What are the fucking odds, guys? If there's one thing you can say about the producers of Arrow, is that they have never heard or seen or came up with a coincidence that they did not like. They love their coincidences over at Arrow to the point where they're just mind-numbingly stupid and convenient, and it's obvious, easy writing. They don't care. They don't care. They unabashedly will just have coincidences everywhere in their fucking writing. They don't care. They don't understand that it's easy writing. It's contrived as fucking hell. They don't care. They don't care. So yeah, I think that's all I can be said about that. They're bringing another metahuman onto Arrow this year, as they had what was the blackout? Not blackout. The Doug Jones metahuman guy they brought in for one episode where he shot the plasma lasers from his eyes or whatever the. I don't even remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but whatever. Yeah, okay. They had him last season, and this season they're bringing in another metahuman. His name is Double Down. He's typically a Flash villain. Um, he's kind of like DC's Gambit, because I guess he throws playing cards at people or something. Okay, so I guess that's gonna be a thing. Um, Oliver is gonna be running for mayor, possibly. That's what it would appear to be, that he may be running for mayor. And this is something from the source material. He actually does become mayor of Star City at one point. Um, and yeah, not a whole lot else. Stephen Amell doing the typical stuff on his Facebook, Q&As and such, and he said stuff like this before. I do not know for the life of me why this continues to get so much attention. But he gets asked this all the fucking time, and he always answers it. He's answered this before. He's asked about Batman because fucking Batman. That's why. Because I guess you can't have some kind of DC thing without Batman. People seem to think, because it's like it's so obnoxious. Like, Oh, well, we're going to do a Flash TV show. Where's Batman? Oh, that's great. What about Batman? It's like, no, they already have a Batman TV show. It's called Gotham. And then this season, again, they have a Batman TV show. It's called Arrow. You have fucking Green Arrow in the place of Batman as he's fighting a Batman villain in the Batman storyline. What more do you fucking want? He's not dressed up like Batman. Is that disqualify? But people ask him, "Where's Batman?" So again, he gives the typical answer. Well, yeah, it's possible, but it's up to the people over in DC. Asked about possibly seeing Green Arrow in a movie. People ask him about this all the time, and he said again, up to Kevin Tsujihara and the people over at DC over the feature side, if they'll have him or someone else play Green Arrow in these new DC movies, DC Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, Justice League universe, whatever you want to call it, DC Cinematic Universe movies. He said this shit before. And again, it makes headlines. It's a fucking trending topic on Facebook. It's all over you go to superhero hype, you go to all over the fucking the media, and it gets picked up. Why? He's not saying anything. There's nothing he is saying is of any substance here. He's just saying that, yeah, it's possible. That's all he's saying. It's like, but the fact of the matter is this: yes, he is right. It is possible, but there's probably like a 95% chance that neither of those things are gonna happen. You're probably not gonna see Batman on the show ever, and you're probably not gonna see Green Arrow in a movie anytime soon. Probably not. My guess would be it wouldn't be until after Arrow's over, and then they'll do a Green Arrow movie. I'm guessing, and it probably won't be Stephen Amell. It'll probably be someone else, and it'll probably be a completely different take on Green Arrow. You may get the Felicity and Diggle characters there because they're just so popular and they're actually so synonymous with Green Arrow now, and to the point where they're actually in the comics. So I would think that you may see Felicity and Diggle with them, but probably different actors. Would I like to see Amell, and I said this before, would I like to see Amell in these DC movies play Green Arrow along with Felicity and Diggle, along with the same actors, but just in a different continuity, or without the continuity of Arrow? Yeah, I would like to see that, but chances are we're probably not going to see that. It's kind of funny because we're getting a Flash movie, and it's going to be a different actor playing Flash, but it's Barry Allen Flash, and it'll probably be released at the time when we have a Flash TV show. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, because DC's very particular about these embargoes and shit, as I've said before. And some of this stuff about season 4, it seems all right. Seems all right on paper. And some of it seems actually kind of exciting. But like I said before, not a lot of any of this stuff seems like it was like a result of long-term planning. It just seems like they just pulled it out of their ass. Other than the Damien Dark Hive stuff, everything else seems like they're just making this up as they go along. And sure, some of the stuff may seem good and all that, but I remember back to season 3, the summer before, hearing news about season 3 of Arrow. I heard things like Count Vertigo, the new 52 Count Vertigo, being brought in to be a big, bad guy that season. I thought, hey, that's cool. And what did we get instead? He wasn't even the fucking new 52 Count Vertigo. He's the new 52 Count Vertigo in name only. Otherwise, he was just a made-up fanfiction character. who didn't even have the proper vertigo power. So really, what the hell made him Count Vertigo, other than the name? Um, Fucking John Barrowman coming on as a series regular. Oh, cool. They're gonna have the Dark Archer back. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and look at what happened. He was totally fucking fucking used to the point where they might as well just kill off his fucking character. Cause it's like the fucking Lances. It's like just like Captain Lance there. Fucking, there's nothing more to do with him. The way they wrote that character this season is fucking terrible. It's to the point where they had a bunch of possibilities with his character. Now they have pretty much no good possibilities with this character. But I'll get to that at the end. So yeah, and actually speaking of the end, we're coming up on the end here. So final thoughts as it relates to Arrow. So we got a little bit more to go over. So okay, so yeah, so Arrow season 3. You know, I mean, this is the season that killed this show. If you want my opinion, what I'd say Arrow's still worth watching. Watch the first 2 seasons. The first 2 seasons are good, and maybe just pretend in your mind that the show either like ended on its own terms at the end of the second season, even though there's a little bit of loose ends there with like Merlin and Thea and things. Or that it was like one of these shows that was canceled prematurely. That's probably the best way to imagine it, because this season just fucking ruined this show. I was thinking, I was kicking around this idea in my brain. What if they did, Arrow seasons 1 and 2, then they did The Flash, and I realized this probably wouldn't have been realistic you know, if for no other reason. They didn't know how successful The Flash was going to be right out of the gate, The Flash show. But what if they did just the first 9 episodes of Arrow this year? They just did a half season for whatever the freaking reason. Who knows? I mean, of course, again, it's not practical because at that time Arrow was their most successful show, so the CW's most successful show. So they wouldn't only do a half season order. But let's just say, right, sake of argument here, how much of a mindfuck would it have been, and I mean in a good way, if you do episode 9, Arrow gets killed. Oliver gets killed by Ra's al Ghul. Then, in the Flash finale, you do whatever the heck you did there with the whole... I still not exactly sure what the hell actually happened, because they don't explain the time travel rules on that show, or what the fuck that giant vortex, or whatever the fuck that opened up in the city was. But, what if that caused some, like an in-continuity reboot, like I mentioned way back in part 3, an in-continuity reboot. And then when Arrow comes back for the next season, it's a totally new Green Arrow. Like, it's still with Lamel playing him, but what if it was like a situation where they're doing Green Arrow now, like they're doing now in season 4, where he's embracing that he's Green Arrow. So it's a new timeline where it's not Arrow, it's Green Arrow, and he acts more like comic book Green Arrow. And the idea being that that timeline was changed and the whole Arrow timeline no longer exists. So essentially, in a way, episode 309 would be functioning as a series finale. And it'd be really cool, I think, in a kind of a messed up way, that the two things that get Oliver killed, like the two things that get him into that battle with Ra's al Ghul that ultimately gets him killed, is him lying to Thea, right? Number one, that's one big thing that he has a hang-up over. And the other thing that gets him killed is him trying to keep his promise to Tommy not to kill and not killing Merlin.